fine way from learning. I met my fiancé Thursday night. There was yeshiva. He said, I hope you have some good stories to say. They like stories. I'm not a storyteller. Yes, my guys, I'm not a storyteller, right? So I hope I don't bore you too badly. But I'm open to the story. Guys, it's okay to be here in Eretz Yisrael, learning Eretz Yisrael. I'm assuming you all come from Florida. Yeah, you come from America. I landed Friday morning, 9:20 in the morning, Friday morning. You know Ben Gurion Airport, I come out, I go across to where the taxi station is. I passed them up, I went to rent a car. I walk into the rental, nice Israelis, they wanted 2.5 times the amount of money we made up in the reservation. Turned around, I walked out. I said, for that price I can use cabs. Less money I can use cabs. I called Avram, who's sitting here, and I said, you're going to rip me off? How much is a cab to Yerushalayim supposed to cost me? He tells me 200 shekel. Right, 200 shekel, he told me. Not 200 shekel. I said, fine. I get to the line of the cabs. I look at the lady standing there, the dispatcher. I said, Kama li Yerushalayim. She tells me, Ala Moneh. I put on the Moneh, by the rules. Look at the driver, the first driver standing in line, a nice older man. I said, $60. I was ready from the start, you know. Now it's only worth about 180 shekel, and I knew I was supposed to pay 200 shekel. This can't have all. The lady looks at him, Ala Moneh. He goes, yeah, Ken, Ala Moneh. $60. Right? Good Israeli. No bargaining, nothing. This is less than I expected to pay. I get in the car. Coming to Yerushalayim. And as you know, taxi drivers in Eretz Yisrael always have a good story. All right? You're never going to make it to Yerushalayim without a good story. So unfortunately, his story wasn't so great. Lost his wife a year ago to Corona. Came at 6 years old from Algeria. Nice Fardish fellow. Was in Ramla. And we were talking, his daughter's suffering from long haul COVID. And then we were talking about getting to Yerushalayim. And I asked him, what's your plans for after you drop me off? You're going to try to get another, fare back to the airport? He goes, no, Yom Shishi. Today's Friday. So I have to prepare for Shabbat. Because Shamati $60, Amati Shabbat, I'm done. He said, when you said $60, I said to myself, that's all my plan was to make today. I'm done, I'm going home, going to buy my chalot. He tells me everything he needs to buy to prepare for Shabbat. He doesn't have a wife anymore. He made his $60. He's done for the day. Only in Eretz Yisrael. When he heard the $60, he could have bargained for 80. You know how it works. But he knew in his mind that's what he made up. Hashem sent it to him, he was done. One trip, at 12, 11 o'clock, he was done working for the day. Not, he goes on a chutz la'aretz, I could make more, but way more. I got what I need. That's it, I'm ready for Shabbat. That's a taxi driver of Eretz Yisrael. That's Anashim Pshutim here in Eretz Yisrael. Not a big Talmud Chacham. But one more thing he told me. It's a guy to listen to. I asked him if he was ever in chutz la'aretz. They all have their stories when they went to America. These taxi drivers. I tell you, who knows about you? We got a good story about America. He tells me no. Because from the time I had sechel, I didn't leave Eretz Yisrael. Because when I was a little kid, younger, we went. From the time I got sechel, I didn't leave Eretz Yisrael. I said, why not? Because Hashem Sheli Yitzchak. My name is Yitzchak. We're not talking about a Talmud Chacham here. We're talking about a guy who came in 6 years old. He left Algeria. Was in Marseille in France for 3 years till mine. I can tell you probably his social security number if he had it, right? Never learned any yeshiva. Tells me which wars he fought in, right? He tells me Hashem Sheli Yitzchak. He goes, Avraham halach l'Mitzrayim. Yaakov halach l'Mitzrayim. Avraham had to go to Mitzrayim. Yaakov Avinu had to go to Mitzrayim. Yitzchak nishar po ba'aretz. Yitzchak remained in the Aretz. My name is Yitzchak. I realized my place is here in Eretz Yisrael. I never went to chutz la'aretz since I had sechel. I told him not to worry. You're not missing ein shvil shel kesef sham, ein shvil shel zahav sham, ein simim kesef. So there's no roads paved with gold or paved with silver like all the Israelis who come to America think. There's no trees that are growing by don't I'm missing anything. That's Anashim Shutim here in Eretz Yisrael. You're zochet to be here in Eretz Yisrael among such people. Forget about amongst the Rebbeim, you have the Tzadikim and the Gonim. But even the Anashim Pshutim, the simple people here in Eretz Yisrael, what do they think? What are they doing? Where are they coming? Where are they going? Made enough with Shabbat. I'm done. I'm going home. Leave Eretz Yisrael? My name is Yitzchak. Where am I going? Yitzchak stays in Eretz Yisrael. To think we're running around, we try to make money, we try to do things, we're worried, we're coming, we're going. Keep it simple. So easily here in Eretz Yisrael. I'm a taxi driver. Imagine what you learn from your day. Every day we finish Mona Esrei, the Amidah. We say, Lokai, Nitzor Lishoni Meira, Siftotai Midabe Me'emah. Guard my tongue from speaking Ra, wicked. Siftotai, my lips Midabe Me'emah, from speaking deceit. We end up our Mona Esrei after the Amidah, asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu to help us be careful with how we speak every single day. And then we continue, we say this every day, we don't think about it, because by that time it's Mona Esrei, we're already like halfway to Europe, you know? The Kotzka said, Eila v'arecha ve'eila v'asusim v'anachnu b'shem Hashem naskir. You all know that pasuk? What does it mean? Eila v'arecha ve'eila v'asusim. They have to go by horse, by donkey. They want to travel somewhere. V'anachnu, all we need is the Kotzka is b'shem Hashem naskir. As soon as we start, Baruch atah Hashem, whichever country you want to be in, right? You don't even need to go there, right? But by end of Shmona Esrei, we're already halfway across Europe, maybe in America, right? And we say these words, Milakal alai, the one who curses me, nafshi tidom. My nefesh should be like a domem. What's a domem? A rock, right? There's 4 levels. Domem, tzomeach, chai, medaber. Domem is like a rock, the bottom. Someone who wants to curse me out, Hashem should I should be like a nothing to them. V'nafshi, my nefesh, ka'afar lakol tihiyeh. To everybody else should be like a piece of dust. Say this every day. People shouldn't start up with us. Should ignore us. Then we say, Petach libi b'toratecha. We ask Hashem, open my heart to your Torah. V'achrei mitzvotecha tirdof nafshi. And after your mitzvot, my nefesh, my body should run. So it's very good to open up our hearts to Torah. It's not so easy to open up to Torah. Right? We need our hearts to get into Torah. But then we ask Hashem for mitzvot. It's not good enough to do a mitzvah in your heart. See the lady walking across the street with a bag in your heart. I wish I could help her. Tirdof nafshi, you have to run with your nefesh, with your body, to run and actually do the mitzvot. We ask Hashem, open our hearts to learn Torah. We'll learn Torah, but for mitzvot, we have to be ready to run after them. And then we talk again about the guys who start up with us. Everybody who stands up against us for evil, mehera, quickly, hafer atzatam, turn over any of their etzot, v'kalkel machshavatam, and ruin their machshavot. Think about it. Just before we spoke about Torah and mitzvot, what did we say? The guys who want to start up with us, what should HaKadosh Baruch Hu help us be? Like dust, like nothing. We're not stopping them, but they should ignore us. We shouldn't be here. After we talk about Torah Techa and Mitzvotecha, we change our tune. V'chol hakamim alai l'ra'ah, those who stand up against us to do wicked, mehera hafer atzatam, Hashem should quickly turn over their etzot v'kalkel machshavtam. How can we switch that? How can we switch that? So there's 2 beautiful pshatim. Think about this. Number 1, very simple. When you go to do, and you learn Torah, and you open your heart for Torah, and you go run, and you go do mitzvot, now what do? Now you represent Torah, you represent mitzvot. You're now in the army of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You represent HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every time you do a mitzvah, you come closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're not a domem anymore. You can't tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu, make me like that rock, and I should be like dust. Now, of course, you still have to be humble. And you can't walk around with your head stuck to the ceiling because you did 2 mitzvot, right? But to other people, right, we're not going to say we should be like dust. They have to treat us with certain respect. There's not respect for me, but respect for the Torah, respect for the mitzvot, right? So once I'm closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and I have to respect the Torah and mitzvot, then then destroy them. Destroy their ways. They shouldn't come against the Torah mitzvot. So interesting, just 2 weeks ago, I had sitting by my Shabbat table some Baragol boys, and we were talking about the difference between Ashkenazi customs and Sephardic customs. So we were talking about, many Sfardim, that Yosef says that you guys don't even eat dairy together with fish. Ashkenazim don't have meat with fish, and the Sfardim even dairy with fish. So one boy turned to me and said to me, but Rabbi, is it a sin if I do it? So I looked at him and I said, tell me, what is a sin? He looked at me really dumbfounded. Here the rabbi's telling him, what's a sin? So he looks at me and goes, an Aveira. I said, excellent. We'll call the guy Moshe. I said, excellent, Moshe. A sin's an Aveira. So you want to know if it's an Aveira. I'll ask you a better question. What's an Aveira? He looks at me even more dumbfounded. Here's the rabbi. He yells about it. Mitzvot an Aveira. It's a sin. So that's an amazing answer. But if you can't figure out what an Aveira or a sin is, you can't figure out if it's an Aveira or if it's a sin. Right? I said to him, look at it this way. What's an Aveira? Aveira is what's a mitzvah? Then I really got him upset. I looked at him and forget about Aveirot for a second. What's a mitzvah? He goes, a mitzvah is a mitzvah. That's a genius. You're right, it's a mitzvah. But what does that mean? But so he looks at me. I said, well, the shoresh is tzav. We're commanded to do something. So it's what you have to do. Well, what does that mean? Like, what's it? We have a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How's that relationship built with HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Through every mitzvah we do, we become closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Anytime we do an Aveira, or we call that sin, what is that? That's a wedge between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? Our whole life is here for our neshama to build a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. An Aveira we do, puts that wedge. A mitzvah brings us closer. I said to him, so your father at home asks you to do something, and you do it, he's happy with you. It enhances the relationship. He asks you to do something, and you tell him no when you walk out. No one here ever did that, but someone who does that, right? So your father, if it's healthy, relationship will still love you, but you disappointed him. You put a wedge in that relationship, right? That's why when you do tshuva, it's greater than if the Avera wasn't done, because if you do proper tshuva, you go over to your father and you apologize, and he sees you really like him, and you really appreciate it could bring you even closer than had it been neither an Avera or mitzvah, right? Every mitzvah we do brings us closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every Avera, I said to him, he goes, so how can it be an Avera for Ashkenazim and Sfardim, not Ashkenazim? I said, let me ask you a question. You have an older brother? He says, yeah. I said, you and your brother, your father tells you to come home the same time at night, or sometimes your curfew is 10 o'clock, his curfew is 11 o'clock, right? So you're both brothers, you both have the same father. He has one expectation for you, one expectation for your brother. If he tells you not to leave after 10 o'clock, tells your brother not to leave after 11 o'clock at night, you both leave at 10:30. Who built the wedge and who didn't? The one who's not supposed to leave after 10 o'clock. Right, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has expectations for us. Right? And Rabbi will teach you how customs, how minhagim came into being, how we keep the Masorah. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu expects different things from every single person in this room. Right? And different things from Ashkenazim, different things from Sfardim. It's not a contradiction. It's not like either it's an Aveira or it's a mitzvah. It's all the relationship. Right? So when we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, doesn't matter. Right? We're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. That puts a wedge. You understand it, guys? You got what I'm saying? Anyone gets what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right? So I said to him, I can't tell you it's Aveira mitzvah. I don't know. Is it a sin? Is it not a sin? You're putting a wedge. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu expects you not to do something and you do it, sticking in that wedge. Every time you come to Yeshiva, or every time you learn Torah, every time you do mitzvah, you're building that relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're building it. Now what happens? Let's look back here for a second. Tach libi b'toratecha. Open my heart, we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu every day, 3 times a day. Open my heart to your Torah. V'achrei mitzvotecha tirdov nafshi. Right? And after your mitzvot, my nefesh should run. Now we want to do mitzvot. We want to build that relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What's inevitably going to happen? Come on, guys. Don't stare at me. What's inevitably going to happen? One thing, that's not inevitable. What's inevitably going to happen when you run after mitzvot?
You get closer to Hashem.
What?
Closer to Hashem.
You get closer to Hashem when you do the mitzvot. But what's inevitably going to happen? The Yetzer Hara is going to run faster. The more you run to do mitzvot, the more the Yetzer Hara is going to what? Try to stop you. Now go back and look at the prayer we say 3 times a day. A guy who doesn't have Torah or mitzvot, so my nafshi can be tidom v'nafshi kafar lapol tiyeh. I don't need a Kadosh Baruch Hu to make sure to destroy that. But when I'm running after mitzvot, what does that mean? The Yetzer Hara, right? And how did the Yetzer Hara come? He doesn't knock on the door and say, I'm the Yetzer Hara. What happens? A guy shows up at your door and says, okay, Seder starts in 15 minutes. Let's run to town. We'll be back only 15 minutes late, right? So the Yetzer Hara used him, right? So those guys, what's wicked? Not just talking, it doesn't mean here the guy wants to beat you up. The guy who wants to stand to get you l'ra'ah, meheira, hafer tzatam, quickly uproot his whole etzah, v'kalkel machshavotam. Because if you don't do it quickly, what's going to happen? If I'm running after mitzvot, that guy, Yetzer Hara, is coming even quicker. So therefore, now that I'm running after mitzvot, if Hashem is going to be mikayim this request of a chol hakamim alay l'ra'ah meheira of achim mitzvotecha terdov nafshi, then what do we need? We need v'chol hakamim alay l'ra'ah meheira hafer atzatam very quickly, because the more we run, the greater Chachamim tell us the greater a person is, the greater the Yetzer Hara. The more the Yetzer Hara sees that he can't get you, he's going to look for new ways. He doesn't rest. The story, famous story, someone asked the Chavetz Chaim, at 85 years old, in the cold winter in Radin, talking about in Europe, right? Freezing, there was no heating. Says, how do you get out of bed in the morning? Like, what do you do when the Yetzer Hara comes? He goes, I tell the Yetzer Hara, I've been only doing this for 80 years, you've been doing this for thousands of years. If you're up before me already, I can get up now. Right? The Yetzer Hara gets up before us in the morning. He's waiting there for your hand to help you press the snooze button. He's there. He helps you. He's there to help you. You're not doing it on your own. Don't worry, the Yetzer Hara is there. But you have to remember he's there. Right? So our prayer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'chol hakamim alay l'ra'ah meheira hafer atzatam v'kalkel machshavatam is now Baruch Hashem. We should open our hearts for Torah, open our hearts for mitzvot, and then HaKadosh Baruch should help us. How does he have to help us? We realize that we need his help, that meheira hafer atzatam, that he comes quickly and destroys them. That's our tefillah 3 times a day to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for his help in getting us through the day. And I'll finish off with a very interesting Shulchan Aruch.